Apple just did something that nobody expected, and it has a lot of people angry. The Apple TV 4K is now sitting at a $249 price tag, and instead of excitement, the reaction online has been frustration, confusion, and a lot of "what is Apple thinking" comments. Because this isn't just about a price increase. This is about a deeper problem Apple has been quietly ignoring for years. A problem that's now impossible to overlook. The Apple TV name itself. On the surface, this might sound like a small issue. Just a name. Just a streaming box. But once you start digging into it, you realize this confusion runs deep. And the higher the price goes, the harder it is for Apple to justify what this product actually is and why someone should buy it. Apple has always been brilliant at naming products. That's one of the reasons the brand feels so clean and confident. When Apple says iPhone, nobody asks questions. It's a phone. When Apple says iPad, everyone knows what it is. When Apple says MacBook, it's clearly a laptop. Even Apple Music is instantly understood as a service. Simple, direct, no confusión. But Apple TV is different, and that difference is now hurting the product. Today, the words Apple TV can mean three completely different things. It can mean the physical Apple TV 4K box sitting under your television. It can mean the Apple TV app, which exists on smart TVs, game consoles, phones, tablets, and even competitor platforms. Or it can mean Apple TV Plus, the subscription service that produces Apple's original shows and movies. All three use the same core name, and that overlap creates friction at every level. For longtime Apple fans, this might sound manageable. They already understand the ecosystem. They know the difference. But for everyday users, this creates hesitation. And hesitation is dangerous, especially when a product costs $249. Think about how people actually interact with Apple in real life. Someone walks into an Apple store and asks about Apple TV. The first thing the employee has to do is ask a follow-up question. Are you talking about the box or the streaming service? That alone breaks the smooth experience Apple is known for. When someone searches online for Apple TV price, they often see subscription costs instead of hardware pricing. When someone asks Siri to open Apple TV, it's not always clear which Apple TV they mean. These are small moments, but they add up, and they chip away at Apple's promise of simplicity. What makes this even more frustrating is that Apple knows better. This company has fixed naming problems before. We saw it when iTunes was broken apart and replaced with Apple Music. We saw it when iPad OS was separated from iOS to better reflect how the device was used. We saw it when macOS branding was refined over time. Apple is not afraid to change names when clarity is at risk. Yet with Apple TV, the company has allowed the name to stretch too far, across too many meanings for too long. And now that the Apple TV 4K costs $249, that confusion matters more than ever. At that price, people expect a clear value proposition. They want to understand instantly what they are paying for. Is it just a streaming box? Is it a gaming device? Is it a smart home hub? Is it required for Apple TV Plus? The name doesn't answer those questions. It forces the customer to figure it out themselves. Compare this to Apple's competitors, and the contrast is obvious. Amazon separates Fire TV hardware from Prime Video as a service. Roku clearly distinguishes its streaming devices from the Roku channel. Google keeps Chromecast and YouTube TV as separate identities. These companies understand that clear naming reduces friction. It helps users feel confident, and it improves discoverability. Apple's approach relies on context, and context only works if the user is already deeply familiar with the ecosystem. That's fine for loyal fans, but it becomes a problem when Apple wants to grow its services business and reach people outside its core audience. This issue becomes even more important when you look at where Apple is heading next. Rumors strongly suggest that Apple is working on a next-generation Apple TV 4K device for 2026. And this won't be a small update. We're talking about a far more powerful processor, stronger gaming performance, AI-driven video upscaling, and deeper integration with Apple Intelligence. There's also talk of tighter connections with Vision Pro, HomePod, and future spatial computing Pro 2. CTS. If those rumors are true, the Apple TV 4K won't just be a streaming box anymore. It will be a central hub in Apple's living room strategy, a device that connects entertainment, gaming, smart home features, and AI-powered experiences into one place. And that's exactly why the name problem becomes impossible to ignore. Positioning a powerful home media hub under the same name as a streaming app and a subscription service dilutes its value. It makes it harder for Apple to tell a clear story. It makes the product feel less important than it actually is. And at $249, perception matters. Apple is one of the best companies in the world at storytelling through branding. That's why it's so surprising they haven't already addressed this. The Apple TV hardware deserves a name that reflects what it does, something that immediately signals that this is a physical device. A hub, a piece of hardware that sits at the center of the home. A new name wouldn't just reduce confusion. It would open up new marketing opportunities. Apple could frame the device as the heart of the entertainment experience, not just a way to open apps. It could clearly separate hardware value from service subscriptions. And it could future-proof the product as Apple continues expanding into gaming, sports, and AI-powered content. From a consumer perspective, this would make buying decisions easier. It would clean up search results. It would reduce support questions. And it would make the ecosystem easier to explain to friends and family. From a business perspective, it would strengthen Apple's position in the living room and help balance hardware revenue with services growth. The problem isn't that Apple TV as a concept is bad. The problem is that the name has been stretched too far. In a brand built on precision, that kind of ambiguity stands out more than it would anywhere else. So when people see the Apple TV 4K hit $249 and react with anger, it's not just about the price. It's about the feeling that Apple is asking more money without offering enough clarity, without clearly defining what this product is meant to be in the long term. In my honest opinion, the Apple TV 4K is still a fantastic device. The performance is smooth. The interface is clean. Privacy is better than most competitors. And if Apple truly turns it into a powerful home hub with AI and gaming, it could become one of the most important products in Apple's lineup. But Apple needs to respect the role of naming in that journey. Because clarity isn't just good design, it's good business. Right now, the Apple TV name no longer reflects the elegance and simplicity Apple is famous for. And with prices rising and ambitions growing, this feels like the perfect moment for Apple to rethink, refine, and reintroduce its living room hardware under a name that truly matches where it's headed next. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video with other tech fans, and hit the bell icon so you never miss the next big Apple leak.